have been getting ready for this awesome episode of the Sports U Podcast, episode 4.
Shelve them.
47.
Shelve them, the AK-47 episode. And if you didn't know who he is, Andre Kirilenko, who did he play for? Utah?
He played for a lot of different teams.
He's been for a lot of different teams.
I think he also played for the Nets, too.
He did play for the Nets for a little bit.
But let's get on with the Sports U headlines.
Shout out AK, though. But the first topic we got today, Robbie.
Yes, sir.
The NBRA is in support with the bill from Wisconsin that would make harassing and assaulting NFL refs and umpires a Class A misdemeanor.
So the NBRA is the
National Basketball Referee Association.
Yeah, so it's the union of the referees. Mm-hmm. And it's just weird because as of right now, I feel like the referees are the crosshair. They're in the crosshairs. Everybody wants them to either slow it down or what's going on with these fucking technicals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So overall, like, it feels like they're in the wrong. And then now they just had some more baggage or something behind them, pushing them into being like, yeah, these guys have some more security and they have that blanket to cover them.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me the most was that if convicted, the punishment for this misdemeanor is up to a year in jail.
I think it's just punishment. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when they're like, oh, we're going to charge you like up to $4,000 if you're driving in the carpool lane. Yeah, I weigh it out, you know, the benefits and the drags to it, the $3,600 or so dollars if I, chilling in the fucking carpool lane. Right. But not like, I think it's just something to say like, hey, if you do it, like, this is what's going to happen. But how are they going to even enforce this? It makes no sense. It just sounds like some extra hoopla.
It is some hoopla. Yeah, it is a little weird, man. Like, definitely none of the refs deserve to be getting.
But let's look at the wordage even though, too. It says harassing or assaulting. So
nobody deserves to get their ass beat.
Assaulting,
yeah,
like I get
totally
it. You're gonna get something, so you're gonna get some like fucking like somebody's gonna beat it into you. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have some type of consequence. There we go. I was looking for that type of word, but no. When you talk about harassing though, like what does harassing mean? Does that mean like when you talk to them when an umpire, or a head coach say spit out dirt or kick dirt at an umpire or something like that? Right. Is that considered harassment? So a little bit of interpretation, but this is Wisconsin, so I don't know. I feel like they're a little like corn-fed. It better be something hard. Like that's not really harassing. Getting into the next one though, Gifton, you picked this one. Right. 8 straight for the Washington Wizards. How you feel about that?
I'm actually impressed. I'm really impressed because I know that they've been battling injuries all season, especially with Denny going out. Russ has been up and down, but it seems like Russ has had a constant pace right now.
He's healthy.
He's right, 100% healthy. I'm impressed. And actually today they just beat the Lakers, so now it's 9 straight.
Yeah, so 9 straight, excuse us. The last time the Wizards had this type of streak was when Michael Jordan was their shooting guard. So not only was that a long time ago, especially nowadays, 2004 doesn't seem that long ago, but now it's 2021, so that's 17 years ago. This guy wasn't, like you said, in 2000. So that's a long-ass fucking time for these Wizards to not be dominant. Even during that Bradley Beal, John Wall stretch where they were both healthy, that's a little surprising to see that kind of happen. But also the Wizards currently hold a 10th seed, and they have a little spot in the play-in tournament. Gifton, do you see them actually making noise?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because Russ is on a mission. I don't know. Have you even seen what Stephen A's been saying about Russ?
Okay, I get it. That's fine. I get that part. But let's say they do enter the playoffs. You said they're making noise. Who are they beating in the East?
Who would they play?
As a team, yeah. Like, if they're going to make some noise, they at least have to get out the first round, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so what is that?
You ready for this?
Who are they going to beat? First round.
The Celtics.
The Celtics. So the Celtics are a little bit later in the. I don't know if they're gonna be able to match up in there because the seeds are a little bit lower for the Celtics with the matchups. I think the Wizards will not be able to do that much. They're terrible on defense. Offensively, they're just good. They're just great enough because, first of all, Bradley Beal's insane, and we'll kind of get onto that one next, actually, just so that we can kind of have a nice little Swift intro into it. Yes, but they have the offense that's always been there, and they also have like some drawbacks because it feels like their team isn't able to cash in a lot of Russ's like frustrating little stretches where the team doesn't produce the same way it's supposed to. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Russ should have a lot of multiple assist games when it comes to like 10 assists, double-digit assist games, but they lose that. But let's continue to talk about Bradley Beal here. He actually just the other day, so I don't know if it's still current because they did play some games today. Bradley Beal crossed Stephen Curry for the scoring champ title this last couple of games here. So he had a 45-point effort against the Spurs 2 days ago.
Damn.
And now they stand at, in 52 games, Bradley Beal is 1,632 points. Curry is 1,657 points in 53 games. So it's really close.
Yeah, they're neck and neck. It's crazy. Definitely not surprised though with Bradley Beal. I mean, Bradley Beal's been kind of putting Washington on his back since he's been in the franchise, you know. So kudos to Bradley Beal. Still neck and neck, but damn, it's crazy to think that like there's somebody who's going off consistently like that as much as Steph Curry's going off right now.
Yeah, and it's not getting notified as much because they're not
Right.
winning. And we're just talking about how the Warriors aren't winning, especially with what they have. Talking about young talent, and then you kind of spoke. I mean, we also spoke about Bradley Beal for a little bit as well. Not that much young talent, but still young enough to be like, hey, like this is a guy who's going to continue to produce in this league. Now, onto again some new stars here. DeAndre Hunter and Trae Young are coming back for the Hawks, who are kind of in a good stretch. I guess you could say they're not necessarily streaking like the last team that we talked about.
No, but they're playing good without Trae, which is kind of scary. Yes or no?
It's a little scary if you look at it from no offense, but in a casual fan's point of view. Now, the Hawks have always. We run the same way that the Lakers run through LeBron, and I'm not putting LeBron and Trae Young on the same category.
Never.
But like they're using the same type of usage as to their high usage. They're gonna be able to get you a lot of assists. They're gonna be able to score a lot and just driving kick. And then the difference is that this guy doesn't perform on the defensive side in Trae Young, not LeBron James.
Right.
So the way that it works is that Trae Young is still like degrees below LeBron James when it comes to offensive like efficiency and also just running an offense as a whole. That LeBron James can make it work, but a Trae Young, it makes him look good because he has all these great numbers, but he's not actually that good of a player because he lets things happen on the defensive side. Offensively, he can get really frustrated as well.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's good that Trae Young gets hurt. Maybe not at that point because they were rolling, but I'm saying like everybody can continue to find their role, establish what they are. And even John Collins in the beginning of this year was confused about his role too. So this just further establishes that if they play as a team, if they give Lou Will the ball to make some plays with that team as well, they can definitely make a run here. Like they're saying, 7-3 in the last 10 games here. Trae Young, now that he's down, he was like a 3.8 plus minus for the whole season. DeAndre Hunter, even though he's only played 20 games this year, has averaged 16 points per game, 5 rebounds, which isn't too much, but you know what kind of league we are in right now, on 50% shooting. So these guys are two quality players on the Hawks team that is already rolling, and with the addition of Lou Will, shout out to Lou Will there, this team I feel like can definitely do you have more stock in the Wizards or in the Hawks in the East, especially when it comes to the playoffs?
I would probably go with the Wizards only because Russ and Bradley Beal have been there, so they know how to navigate through the playoff field, the mentality, as opposed to like Trae Young and them, because they're still super young. Like, yeah, they have Lou Will, who's like a certified vet, been around the block a couple of times, but I think I believe more in the Wizards than I believe more in the Hawks.
Oh, okay. So you spoke of it. I think they both had parts in the year where they suffered from injuries, and that was a huge setback. Again, they're having injuries right now, but they're supposedly coming back, and this is from the GM here, Travis Schlenk. All I have to say is
Schlenk.
All I have to say is earlier this year we had a fuck one, marry one, kill one, and it was the Timberwolves, the Wizards, and the Pistons.
Yeah.
I married the Pistons. My mistake.
Fucking fool.
You, in fact, married the Wizards, and now they're coming back. So, on that, I'm going to continue to ride the train here. I think it is, in fact, the Wizards, even though I did just fuck with them. I didn't marry them, but I think I'm going to start to get on that over there and put some more trust and more stock into that team rather than these Atlanta Hawks who continue to have an up and down season. Up in the beginning of the season, down when they were just trash and having some head coach troubles. They fired the head coach, Nate McMillan, going crazy on that squad. On that as a head coach there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Nate's been going crazy, man.
On from one prodigy, in quotes, different opinions on that one. When it comes to Trae Young, on to Zion Williamson. Gifton, what did he do recently here?
Scored his 2,000th point in 79 games. This is the fastest since Michael Jordan.
He posted it with another big double-double, 33 points, 14 rebounds. Damn. And I'm sure that was on like 15 shots. That's how it always is. This guy is very, very efficient, as you could tell by the amount of games that it took him to get there. Since Michael Jordan. And that's in a league where we feel like everybody's scoring way more nowadays.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's very impressive on Zion's end.
I feel like it's maybe it's a weird season. Just this season as a whole, everybody's breaking records when it comes to overall offensive efficiency, rating, whatever, all that bullshit.
Right.
But here's the thing. Even though he's putting up these numbers, they still lost to the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs have been rolling, even though my Heat just beat them today. But what I have to say is that
the Heat just beat the Spurs.
This guy's Zion
Williamson.
Williamson.
7th seed, ass.
What are you? Do you even have a seed?
We're tanking for a reason.
I don't even want to talk about the Heat right now.
For a reason.
He's a Rockets fan. I am a Heat fan. Let's get on to
Houston. We don't have a problem.
Well, I was talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves earlier, right?
We'll get there. We'll get there. But Houston,
dude, stop talking about fucking Houston. Nobody wants to hear about Houston right now. Trash. And then listen to his story later. Stupid, man. All right, so let's get on to the next one though. With the other night's win, the Minnesota. Why do I keep calling it the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Look at this fucking guy.
Who entered with 44 losses, beat a 44-win team in the Utah Jazz. Gifton, is this something or nothing when it comes to these two teams?
This is definitely this is nothing on Minnesota's end because they're already ass. Whatever. This is something.
That's this season though. For next season, you have an second year Anthony Edwards, you have D'Angelo Russell, hopefully healthy for the whole year, and then you also have Cat, who's throwing windmills from the free throw line.
Stiff back.
Hey, dude, the only reason
still getting him though.
No, not a stiff back, bro. He's been having COVID and shit.
With a hunchback.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Not when he's throwing down windmills like that. He can have a stiff ass back if he does that shit. I don't give a fuck. But no, dude, I think this is something for both teams. The Jazz, they got swept by these guys, the Timberwolves, throughout the whole entire season. And then the Jazz themselves, like, you continue to prove everybody right that you're just the Jazz.
Yep.
You're just the Jazz.
You're just the Jazz.
Nobody plays with the Jazz on 2K.
Nobody plays with the Jazz on 2K.
Nobody wears a Rudy Gobert jersey.
Who the fuck is buying a Rudy Gobert jersey?
Who the fuck
is
wearing a Rudy Gobert jersey?
Who?
Show me that man.
Seriously.
Getting pistol whipped. But no, I think this is something for both teams. Definitely something for both teams. The Timberwolves have a lot of hope, especially for next year. They're trying to prove something, and definitely being in a West where there's a lot of up and coming teams, and already teams that are really good. Like, come on, man! Like this, it's gonna be tough for this team, and I think it's also something for that team to prove that hey, like once we have all our pieces, we can actually win games. They're on a little stretch here, right?
No, yeah, definitely. This Minnesota could definitely win some games. As far as Utah, though, man, right, like you just said, like they're the Jazz. Like, just because you clinch first doesn't mean shit to me.
Well, D'Angelo Russell being back here, I just want to mention him, put him as a little highlight. He's having a career shooting year from three, 41.6% from three, attempting 7 a game. What, Gifted, what number is that? 7 for 7 a game for this year. His field goal percentage right now is also career high. These are all career highs here. 44.7% from field goal percentage. That's kind of That's kind of crazy. He's never shot more than 45% in a year. That's not
really?
good.
Not even on Brooklyn?
Nope.
Really?
He was an all-star.
Interesting.
The effective field goal percentage, 54.4. True shooting percentage, 57.5. So maybe he can't finish. He's not really good at finishing around the rim, but he's definitely a good shooter when it comes down to it.
Which is kind of wild when you think about it, that D'Lo's like not that good of a shooter. But I mean, he still makes up for it.
Remember, I said in the beginning of this year that LaMelo Ball was going to come into this year, and he was basically going to be a D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell comes back, and it leads to winning. The Hornets, I feel like, are a much better squad than the Timberwolves.
Oh, definitely.
What I'm ultimately trying to say is that they have very similar plays, styles. LaMelo's way better with his passing. Don't get me wrong on that level. Like, he's definitely in this almost elite tier. Overall, though, they have a lot of similar type of film. The way that they play the game, it looks pretty similar as well, too. Mm-hmm. On to the next one, though, Gift, and this is your favorite.
Oh, my God, Boogie, back in the league.
Back in the league on the Clippers here, and he's doing damage in the post. He's getting double teamed.
He is, but I love you, Boog, but damn, I don't know, man. Something just bugs me about his movements.
Well, he's definitely lost a step, especially when it comes to his injuries after that season with the Pelicans, where he was doing so well, and then he went down with Anthony Davis on that squad. This is what he had to say recently about himself getting double-teamed nowadays on a 10-day contract. I got to be the first person in the history of the NBA to be a third-string big on a 10-day getting double-teamed. I don't think that's ever happened before. It's pretty funny to me. And that's what's so crazy. The league has became a transition type of league, one that really runs from one side to another. That's why Marcus Gasol doesn't have a job in the NBA nowadays. That's why this man doesn't have a job in the NBA nowadays. It's just you have to prove and be dominant, almost physically, like a Dwight Howard nowadays, to have that body type, to have that physicality where you're not really speedy. You can't make the transitions. You can't switch. You can't be on the perimeter. There's not really a place for you in the league right now. But yet this guy in a half-court set, all these guys who are trained to be good at the other spot aren't really good in the down-low position against the DeMarcus Cousins. So the Clippers having this guy is just another person to go to. You've seen what he was able to do on the Warriors in the finals. Just provide him an extra layer or level of offensive efficiency. Yeah. So I think this is funny, but I think it's also cool that he's on the Clippers and they have him for the rest of the season, right, Gifton?
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised that. I'm not surprised that Boogie's back in the league. It is a little funny that he's on the Clippers, but I mean, get in where you fit in. So, I ain't mad at you.
Hey, he's no stranger.
Think it's funny how he's played for every team in California, though.
He's no stranger. Yeah, that's a really cool one.
That is hilarious and cool at the same time.
Hey, he's still ring chasing, and that's he's no stranger to that. No stranger to that. Speaking of another vet that's kind of changing the way that they have to play so that they can succeed in this league. He's a little bit different. He's more successful with this new style of play. DeMar DeRozan now has as many 10-assist games this season as he did in the first 11 seasons of his career. Gifton, what does this say to you about DeMar DeRozan, about the Spurs, culture, about the way that Greg Popovich can coach? And maybe this is all like what? Who do you have to blame for this? Is it a combination of all three? Is it just DeMar and his things that he had to go through?
Have to blame for this?
Like for his development in this type of area of his game. We already know that he could. He's long enough to rebound. He's great at scoring, but now he's a great passer, especially on the Spurs. Is this a culture thing? Is this a Popovich thing? Is it a DeMar evolving thing?
This is a Pop thing, if we were being real. Because more so in Toronto, his job was just mainly to score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they ran the offense through him. They gave him the ball. He was the high flyer, very athletic, tough, gritty, grindy, straight to the bucket, dunk on you.
There he goes again. His gritty, grimy players. We got to make a list and put it up right here. The top grindy, gritty players that Gifton knows.
But yeah, I think this is a Pop thing because it's like what we said with playing with the Patriots. When you play for the Spurs, you play for the next man. You don't play for yourself. Just like what we were talking about with the Patriots. When you play for the Patriots, you play for the next man. You don't play for yourself. So this is definitely like the San Antonio culture, the San Antonio system, and it's also Pop thinking like, hey, I think you'd be really great. You're already a great player. Let's make you greater. And look what happened.
So you think that Pop was like, if you want to take that next step in your career and you want to be that better player, you're gonna have to do this? Or do you think it was more of like for me, I think it was DeMar. I think it was DeMar taking a step back, understanding his role, understanding what he was traded there for. You know what I mean? Like you have to make a different type of evolution because he lost himself in so many different ways, and he was even mentioning in so many different articles about what he's been through mentally, physically, and it's just overall, like, I'm just so happy for him to have this type of year. Now, is he performing in the clutch? Unfortunately, not this year, and that's, like, the sad part about it. They keep losing close games. But for me, like, he's a 4-time All-Star, and this is the first year that he's having 10 assist games. So I'm just happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to see, but okay, here's why I think it's Pop. Because if it was DeMar, why didn't you recognize it sooner? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you knew that was the next level to unlocking your game and reaching a new plateau, why didn't you do it earlier in Toronto?
Because you just said that he had that role in the first place, that he was the scorer. He
that
wasn't
doesn't
the
mean
guy.
Anything,
yeah, that's because you have two different types of roles. On the Spurs, you're able to handle the ball a lot more, and you want to. You're the playmaker. You're the person that makes all the decisions in the end.
He was making all the decisions in Toronto.
No, because he was just a scorer. He didn't bring his game to that level at all. He would get like 2 assists per game, bro. Okay. And now he's getting like 8, 7.
Yeah, cause
I mean, excuse me. This year, I think he's averaging like 7 or 8 or something like that. But like,
I believe
it's really significant when you can add a new tool to your bag, especially when you're a person like DeMar DeRozan, who they were making him into a shooter and it didn't work out, so he had to do something different. And he's still the same type of player when it comes to his mid-range attacking, his finishing ability, and then being on the Spurs, like having a good system, one that you get acclimated with. I think it's been 2 years now that he's on this team. So I think it's only natural that
3.
I don't think it's been 3.
That was 2000.
Because Kawhi won the title, and then the Lakers won the title.
Okay, you're right. So it has been.
Yeah. So
anyways, continue.
So, I definitely think that this is a DeMar thing. I don't think that this is more of a Popovich thing. I think he has something to do with it, but I think this is more of a DeMar taking that look at his career and being like, okay, this is the player that I need to be. But, I mean, he was in All-Star considerations this year. I believe that for him to be an All-Star because of the way that he was playing. But, again, there's other players in the West right there. The next one here, though, Gifton, you want to bring it up?
Michael Porter Jr. is playing like an All-Star ever since Jamal Murray has went down. 26 points on 59% shooting from the field, 54 for 3, and he's seizing the moment when it comes to playing for the Nuggets.
Yeah, so you speak of Michael Porter. Every single time I talk about this guy, it's these Nuggets really took this guy. The Clippers passed on Michael Porter Jr. twice.
A lot of people passed on Michael Porter.
But the Clippers did it twice. And then that got me in a little of a head kind of question mark. Like, this guy must be that hurt because that's what his thing was. He was really hurt. Like, his back was just really bad. Yeah. So now with Jamal Murray out, he has a bigger role. And we kind of expected that. We expected Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter. You also have Malik Beasley, who's is it Beasley, right?
Yeah.
I think it is. You also have Campazzo on that team too, and then Joker's also just becoming an MVP. That like all these pieces, it was kind of like you expected them to be like, okay, they're supposed to do this, but he's coming out in a different type of way. You spoke of his stats; they're overbearing. Honestly, they're so efficient.
Oh hella!
I think that you have Jokic to blame for a lot of this, but also like you have to understand that the Nuggets always had just people on the back burner.
Definitely.
Look, they got Bol and garbage time putting up highlights every fucking time. So like they're loaded. They just don't know what to really do with all this talent.
Right.
That's why I'm so happy that RJ Hampton's out of there.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see what he becomes.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I don't know. That's what I get from this.
Yeah.
Like, I expected Porter Jr. to be like this. Like, great. Honestly, a 25-plus scorer per game.
No, same.
You know what I mean?
Same.
So, this guy, he goes down, and we're thinking, like, man, like, he's a difference maker in that way. This guy, Porter Jr., is literally just hunting for threes. The other day, he made a stop, got the steal, and then passed it to somebody else in transition. They gave him back the ball. He like stepped in, took a step in, made like just one cross move, and then pulled up from three because he was just hunting for it. And it's just like, this is nasty. And this guy's tall as hell. He's lanky. He has the potential to be a good defender if he's putting up that effort. What if he becomes a better defender?
That would be
in the postseason.
Ooh, watch out, bro.
Just because there's
watch out.
Extra layer of just competitiveness, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens in these. We were talking bad about the Jazz earlier, and we kind of counted the Nuggets out once Jamal Murray went down. Maybe this is a wake-up call to keep your eyes on these Nuggets.
Definitely. I hope it is a wake-up call, honestly.
Like you said, Jokic is the MVP on your end?
Jokic is the MVP, yes.
I don't know. We'll see. Since Wiseman's injury, on to the next one.
This blew my fucking mind.
The Warriors are ranked number 1 in the net rating. Number one in defensive rating, which I'm the most like surprised about because, geez, like there's so many other teams that could be better than them defensively, but taking a big out of James Wiseman out of the lineup who's able to make that, like, you know, run up and down the court type of deal. Maybe they're just pushing him into these minutes that he's not used to, and it's getting later in the season and he's not used to the type of workload. So it's good that he's out and he's resting and he got the experience. But overall, 4th in offensive rating as well. Gifted, what do you have to say about this in the loss in Wiseman? Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Is there good and bad in both? What is it for you?
I believe it's good and bad in both. Only because, like, the Warriors for sure needed a big. Because in obviously we can look back at the past couple of years. They've been their offense is predicated with a good big man. It just sucks though that
no, it's not.
The offense is. I mean, like, they need a big man for their offense. Yes or no?
For their offense, any lineup needs a good big man.
No. Not
who's their 5th?
Who's 5th?
Who's been their 5th? Who's been their big man? Yeah. So their offense is not predicated on a big man.
No,
Draymond is not their big man. He's big man in the small ball lineup in the beginning, but nowadays he's not. And it's been Zaza Pachulia, Kevin Looney. You also have Kevon Looney. You also had in the beginning it was David Lee, and then it was Andrew Bogut, and then you had those 2 other players that I mentioned. You also had JaVale McGee too. They just plug and play, and that's why I was so excited about Wiseman. It's not predicated on that. He's just good to have the big man that he's able to stand there because all the rest of the guys already know how they've been coached well by Steve Kerr. But it's not predicated on the big man.
Okay, man, that's you. But basically,
it proves it right here that since his injury that they are better.
Talking.
Go ahead. I'm just saying,
asshole.
It's not predicated on the big man.
Drink your fucking beer, bitch. Anyway, it's good because, like you said, Wiseman's out. He's resting, trying to get healthy. But it's also kind of bad because you kind of got to look back like, damn, he was the 2nd pick and he's kind of like not really fitting in like that, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said,
he's still rough around the edges a little bit. And it's like, damn, like we could have had anybody with the 2nd pick. They could have had anybody. There's probably like 4 or 5 other players that would have fit great for that offense.
I think that every player that got drafted, they got drafted in the right spot. LaMelo has a lot of different tools on that team, he would have had to take a step back because of either Clay or Steph, especially in the next year here. Do I see them being able to work it out? Yeah, because Steph Curry is such a great leader, and also, new shooting in this type of era, it's always going to be great. So I think that LaMelo would have been a great pickup for them in that second pick. But overall, that's what they needed. That's what they thought that it was going to turn out. And he was a good an okay shooter, had some promise coming forward. Again, this is his rookie season, and for him to not be able to fit in with the championship culture, championship pedigree type of organization with the Warriors, it's not that too surprising. You know what I mean? They are 7-2 since the Wiseman's been out. They ended up with a 116.7 offensive rating, 105 defensive rating, and an 11.8 net rating in that 9-game stretch. So 104 isn't too great when it comes to their defensive rating when I come to think about it, in my opinion. But overall, what I have to say is this guy, I expected him to be so much more, and for him to not statistically do well with them. And they're so smart. They're so smart. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's just they like to have a force in there, one guy who can do a little bit of a post game or have a little bit of a physical presence in the middle, because he's not a physical presence, but he's definitely a
rebounding.
He's an all-in-one. Yeah, all-in-one. I do everything okay. I don't do anything amazing. Mm-hmm. But I do everything okay. I do everything good. And I'm physical, and I'm young, and I'm able to make it up and down the court here. But Speaking of other people who are pretty good at everything and not really that good at shooting, sorry about bourbon.
Simmons. Doc Rivers has been raving about Ben Simmons versus the Thunder. And, quote, "We missed him a ton. I was joking with another coach. He called me and said, if anyone ever asks you about how important Ben is on offense, just show them our last 4 games."
That's what I say about it.
What the fuck was that?
He had to watch out, because last time he was talking about Ben on defense, he said he was swallowing up guys.
Oh, whoa. Damn, Doc.
You don't remember that?
No.
That shit was pretty funny. He was like, he literally just swallows up all them people. And I was like, whoa, Doc.
Doc, whoa.
You know what they do in the locker room over there? Nah, but.
With Dwight Howard over there?
Oh, Lord.
Hey, yo, Ben.
Lord. No,
Ben.
They've been talking about this guy as the defensive player of the year, and they're like, oh, look at our offense without Ben Simmons. Oh, it's pretty shitty.
Well, and according to the ladder, he just reached number 1 over Rudy Gobert.
I don't mind that, because I'm a Rudy Gobert hater. But
okay, that's
I like Ben Simmons as the defensive player of the year candidate. I'm just saying, though, that they're talking about his offense and this type of thing, and I'm surprised that they're doing that. Now, when it comes to this team, I've said it when Embiid got out, they're going to continue to roll. It's Ben Simmons' team after that. When you add Joel Embiid to that team, it becomes overkill. It becomes amazing, insane. I just don't know what else to call it. So, if these guys are both healthy and they're in the playoffs here, they're gonna make a big run here. I think that they have a bigger run than the Nets do, right, in the East. You would
damn, that's a good question,
because you've been on the Nets, we've been on the Nets. If they're healthy, they're good. Yeah. But they with the things that are happening right now.
That's all that I was gonna say. Really, if the Nets are healthy, then the Nets got it. But damn, man, that's a good. I mean, if it's not Brooklyn, damn, is it Philly? Is this the year they get it done? I don't know, man.
Hey, it's gonna be a great playoffs.
It's gonna be a great playoffs.
If I had to pick today, and I wanted, and I seen the Nets as a favored team in a playoff series, I would pick the 76ers for the biggest payoff.
Ooh,
they got Tobias Harris. They have a okay bench coming off of them on the floor. They still have Ben Simmons, Tobias. Did I already mention Tobias Harris?
You did. Matisse
Thybulle. We mentioned Tyrese Maxey. We mentioned behind them too. They just have a deeper. I just feel like you have Ben Simmons, you have Joel Embiid kind of like figuring out what they've been able to do with Doc Rivers, like they've been able to work together and figure it out and just set up Joel Embiid, and he's just a mismatch for anybody and anybody. So,
yep.
I think that they have a better like matching up with the matchups for any other team, especially when it comes to a playoff settings where a lot of it can be half court, especially when it gets to the last seconds of a game. But I guess that would be it. Gittin, do you have anything to say about the Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons, man. I hope this is the year, because I don't want to say for years, but like for a minute, like Ben Simmons was getting like real heavy slandered, like, oh, you can't shoot, you can't do this, can't do that, you can't get the team to the playoffs, you can't get out of this round. Jimmy Butler was the reason why Philadelphia was so successful that year, blase, blase, blase. There's a big chip on his shoulder, and I hope he's coming to prove everybody wrong this season. This playoffs this year.
The motherfucking playoffs. Yep. But that's the headlines. A little bit of stories involved with that as well. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of the show. The stories.
Nitty-gritty. You know what? Go ahead with your story first.
Well,
actually, you know what? Nah, fuck your story, because we talk about the Rockets.
Yeah, like I said, foreshadowing into the future, this guy's just going to talk about what he wants to talk about instead
of what
everybody else wants to care about. Go ahead, brother.
Goddamn right. Everybody cares about the Rockets when Big Giff is on the scene. Now, according to a Rockets insider, Jae'Sean Tate, small forward for the Houston Rockets, he went
we're talking about the Rockets? I didn't know that.
I didn't fucking ask you for your opinion, all right?
I was just saying.
I didn't ask you, though.
You said it was a Rocket insider.
Yeah,
you were talking about
I'm talking to America. I'm not talking to you.
And Jae'Sean Tate, who's what?
It's Jae'Sean.
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 He's on the Houston Rockets. Go ahead, bro. I'm just asking.
I'll flip this fucking table and stick my foot so far up your ass, son.
I'm just asking.
Anyways, Jae'Sean Tate, who has scored 672 points, 324 rebounds.
There you go. Don't give him an extra 100 rebounds.
Hey. 141 assists and 78 steals, along with 34 blocks and 48 3-pointers.
These are so specific. That's all I have to say. Keep going.
Hey, man, fuck you.
Okay? Like, bro, this is the only player that had 672 points.
All right, switching the camera.
324
Fuck
rebounds.
him. Don't pay attention to him, America. Houston, there's no problem.
Who is the other rookie to post these type of numbers, Gifton? This is insane. I never thought that I compared this man to this other man. Who's had these numbers as a rookie?
LeBron James back in 2003.
Uh-oh. Is this his second coming?
No, I wasn't even. Your sarcasm is killing me, you fucking dickhead.
Oh
my God.
I thought we were talking about the Houston Rockets. The last place.
Oh, man.
Houston Rockets, brother.
Come on, bro. We're tanking for a reason, dude.
I understand that. He's got to deal with it. The Heat don't tank.
Anyways, the reason why I've wanted to bring this story up was because it was last week before this week's ladder came out. He was second in voting for Rookie of the Year. Now he is third behind Tyrese Halliburton for the Kings and Anthony Edwards for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think, and I'm speaking to all the Houston Rockets fans here. Fuck you. We're ass. We know we're ass. We had a shitty hand this year. A lot of injuries. We still had a lot of injuries. A lot of COVID protocols. John Wall, Victor Oladipo. That experiment kind of like flip-flopped. It was up and down. We got like Kelly Olynyk in back return, who's actually been pretty good.
I told you, Kelly Olynyk is nothing to laugh at. Well, you're able to laugh at him because look how he looks, but then he balls out.
Bro, 25, 5, and 8. Come on, man.
Okay.
I'll take that any day.
I hate the way he plays, though.
Definitely.
I hate it.
Definitely.
It's not fun to watch him play, but Kelly Olynyk's a good player.
No, definitely a great player.
No,
but
he's a good player.
Shit. Oh, my beer spilled on me. The point that I was trying to bring up though was, it's good to see that Christian Wood, Jae'Sean Tate, KJ Martin, KPJ, all our young players that we have, they have potential, and they all just need time and a real year to get in the gym, find out who that dog is, because there's no dog on that team. There's no, my dog, I mean leader. And it's just good to see that we gave up James Harden, we got some leverage, and we got some great, turn that bitch my way. Turn it a little more my way. Yeah. It's just great to see that we have young players on the team, and it's not like, I know I'm dancing. I'm trying to fill it. I'm trying to fill spots, but it's just good to see that we have something, not in return, but we just have something coming. Now, how long that's gonna take, we don't know, but it's just good to see that we have all these great young guys who have great potential. Now go on. Okay. Shit on my topic.
Can I shit on you?
Shit on it. Spread your fucking cheeks and shit on it.
I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Now, you're in the West, right?
Okay.
Oh, damn.
You're in the East, right? It's real easy in the East, right?
That's better for me, stupid ass. All right, here we go.
Yeah, we gotta work.
You're on the Rockets.
We gotta work. You just get a handout.
Put it on.
You just get a handout.
Put the camera on me, man.
No, fuck your camera.
The Rockets. You're talking about the Rockets in the West, and he said, "Yeah, you just got Jae'Sean Tate, Christian Wood, KPJ,
KJ Martin,
and KJ." Woo!
Yeah, I'm happy about him. I like him.
You're happy? I've never heard a person be so confident about that group. Hey, man, the only person I like.
Young.
That's fine. You know who else is young? The Suns, the last 10 years until they got old finally. And what other? They're good now, right?
Yeah.
Who else is young? The 76ers were young for so fucking long, and they were ass for a long ass time. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been young.
Okay, so get to the point, dickhead. What is it?
All I have to say. Hey, the Thunder are young. Look what their record is.
Look at what the Thunder fucking have.
The Thunder I take the Thunder core way over your Thunder. The Thunder core is way better than yours.
The Thunder have.
They're better than you guys.
50 picks for like the next 20 years.
I'm saying their core right now is still better than your guys.
No.
What?
Nah.
Who's better than Shai Gilgeous out of all of your guys?
KPJ can go toe to toe with Shai Gilgeous.
You think anybody can replace Dort? You would take Jae'Sean Tate.
Yes.
The only person that I would say that I would consider is Christian Wood.
Okay.
And that's if I want to give this guy the high usage to get those types of numbers in the first place.
Okay. Go ahead.
Bro, this is all I have to say is he's giving you guys hope so that you guys can enjoy yourselves.
There is hope. Fuck
and
this
be
guy.
And be confident
Fuck
with
him
the
and his
next
glasses.
season and look at it and be like, man, we have a season to look forward to, and just get broken the whole fucking season.
We do have a season.
You don't want that.
Bro, we had COVID.
You don't want that.
Disgruntled vets. A first-year coach who's really trying to like set an offense, but he can't because he has fucking James Harden.
I don't want you to talk about that. Poor Steven Silas.
Poor Steven Silas, man. What a shit hand to be dealt with. But, man, all I'm trying to say is, Houston, we're down bad right now. It's going to be okay. There's going to be a rainbow on the other side of this storm with a couple of mimosas and a picture of Robbie that I'm going to just shit on.
Also, John Wall's out for the rest of the year, so you owe me $40. Yeah, you don't have to do it right now. We can wait until the end of the year. Cause wait.
Fine. You said wait till the end of the year.
It's recorded.
You said wait till the end of the year. I'm gonna wait till the end of the fucking year. You're right. I'm gonna wait till the end of the season before I give you this money. I'm gonna give you $40 in fucking pennies.
Anyway, $40. I'll put them in a bag and just whack on this side.
Shut up.
Now let's talk about my story here.
What is that?
I wore this shirt for a reason. I was actually there for Kobe's last Laker, or not his last Laker game, excuse me, but the memorial. R.I.P. Kobe.
R.I.P.
I just want to speak about the Lakers and the Schroder, Dennis the Menace, the worst fucking nickname I've ever heard LeBron James give. He was like, I don't know if this guy's gonna like this, but I call him Dennis the Menace. How
Dennis
original, huh?
That's actually a cool nickname, but it's not being original at all.
Yeah, it's not being original at all. He was like, I hope he likes it, but Dennis the Menace, that's what I call him. But honest to God, he's starting to be. He's been a menace.
Yeah.
He's been a menace for the Lakers whenever he is on the Lakers and he's playing for them.
Yep.
They are definitely an over 500 team. He showed his value last year for the Thunder, especially in the playoffs, hitting some big shots in tough minutes. They lost a really tough series against, I think it was, who was it, the Jazz?
Who?
Last year.
It
must have been the Jazz.
Against who?
It's either the Jazz or the Nuggets.
Who are you talking about?
The Thunder, who they lose to last year.
The Rockets.
And, was it the Rockets?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I forgot.
Houston.
I thought they've been bad for a while.
It was the Rockets.
Now let me get back to Dennis Schroder here. So they did lose. So Dennis right now, they just won a game against the Magic. They lost against, who was it? The Wizards today, though, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like kind of double entendre. Like it brings it up and then it collapses it back down. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna bring it up right here and then get Tanika slam it back down for me. But
goddamn right, I'm gonna slam it back down.
I slammed this shit down. Dennis Schroder just recently produced in the last game here. So in a must-win game, that's what Davis labeled it over the weekend. It hung in the balance there, but in the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds, the point guard in Dennis Schroder scored the last 9 consecutive points, or scored the next 9 consecutive points to give the Lakers a 104-96 lead with 2:57 left. Is that how it worked? Yeah, I guess so. So, like, the game hung in balance. They were down. Oh, shit. They were down by 1. And then it went up to 104-96 with 2:57 left. So, basically, the game was over at that point. They ended up winning the game 114-103, snapping a 3-game losing streak that Dennis Schroder was a part of the whole entire time as well. So he was there during the 3-game losing streak, and they just lost today. So he's not a crazy big difference maker, but we also know what LeBron James is about. It's the LeBron James system. Spoke about it earlier in the show. Trae Young and his ability to use his usage to his best ability, providing assists, getting everybody else set up, also shooting every fucking shot that's in his book there. He crosses half court. He's gonna pop that bitch, right, Gifton?
Oh, of course he is, man. I like that guy, Dennis Schroder.
No, that was I was talking about Trae Young.
I like Trae Young too, not as much though.
Fuck Trae Young.
Ow!
Okay, no, not fuck Trae Young. That's a little messed up. But Trae Young is definitely a little bit different when it comes to efficiency, and that's what I mean by this. The Lakers aren't anything when LeBron James is not on the court. And, of course, Anthony Davis is still working his way back. We seen him in his first game. He wasn't doing anything very well. But this, it kind of settles on Dennis Schroeder's end. He's able to pull up from 3. He's able to set up people the same way that I was just talking about Trae Young being able to set up people. The only thing that I would say is that he's so quick that he's able to produce on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it actually overtakes him on the offensive side as well, and he has a lot more turnovers. Well, this last little stretch here, especially when we're talking about, him coming back, he's been averaging 1.7 turnovers over the last 7 games. So he's been not turning the ball over. He's still providing the same type of, passes for everybody, setting them up in the right spot. And that's what you need when you lost somebody in Rondo who's not able to do that. Dennis Schroder is a totally different dimension of player for these Lakers. So this is what he had to say. I tried to make the right play a little bit more careful. I'm still aggressive, looking for my teammates, but just in a different way. I've been talking to Jay Kidd a lot, so he's been helping me with it as well. Just being aggressive, trying to attack the rim, and then look for my teammates. So this year, I'm hoping that Dennis Schroder can be a big pivotal factor when it comes to the Lakers. They will have a third guy that is more reliable than Kyle Kuzma, but can have the same type of effect as a Kyle Kuzma who hit a game-winning shot last year in the playoffs, who is able to tie up games, who is able to get the ball and be like, I know what to do with this, which is I need to score it, but he's not going to look like the newborn reindeer that this guy, Kyle Kuzma can become. So he can do a lot for you. He can cover guards, and that's what the Lakers were missing last year. It didn't seem like that was too much of a big deal. Everybody was able to step up. You also have the other players in KCP. Ben McLemore's getting acclimated.
Shooter.
He's a shooter.
You
also have the other guy, Wesley Matthews, is starting to become a shooter now that
I be forgetting
everybody's
Wesley
down.
Matthews there, and that's so fucked up because like I know one of these playoff series he's gonna hit like 5 threes in a row, and I'm gonna just lose it.
Yep. And then even Anthony Davis is saying, like, when LeBron's out, this guy Dennis Schroeder's got to show up. He's got to be more aggressive. We always tell him, hey, man, you're that fucking man. You're the shit. Like, you're different from all these other point guards, LeBron included in that. They both want this guy to have a bigger role and actually pull up and be this person when LeBron is off the floor. So it's kind of like the D'Antoni thing. He always wanted Chandler Parsons.
Ooh.
James Harden, or who was their third player? Maybe Eric Gordon. He always wanted one of those players.
Chris, a little bit.
Chris who? Chris Paul. I don't think because Chris Paul and Chandler Parsons were on the team at the same time. But Eric Gordon
so
was.
Going on.
I'm just saying that they always wanted one player on the floor.
Oh, Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Okay, so he was a bigger part, not Eric Gordon. So they always wanted one player on the floor with like some type of credibility like that. You always want somebody to be able to be that go-to guy, and then everybody kind of stands around. And I feel like the Lakers would be a good team at doing that, letting one player make all the plays and set people up, and then the rest of the guys are kind of just following in their own role there. So Dennis Schroeder, even though he has a lot of support from his teammates, he has a lot of support from the staff, and everybody wants him to be more aggressive. He understands that as well. He's been more efficient with the more usage. He is seeking a 20-plus year contract after this season.
Jeannie better fucking give it to him.
Jeannie
gave what's coming for her.
Already a 4-year, $84 million. They don't really have any other guards to go to when it comes to a caliber like Schroeder.
Exactly.
This is a make or break year for Schroeder in the playoffs to not only get paid, but also, show and prove to these Lakers that, hey, you guys better give me what I deserve so that we can continue to bring trophies and rings to this Lakers organization.
Yeah, because the Lakers aren't going to come across another point guard like Dennis Schroeder unless they trade for him. And I know that's the last thing that the Lakers want to do, really, is trade for him. Is trade for another younger point guard.
Or losing out on everything that they lost to get Dennis Schroeder in the first place.
I mean, they only gave up Danny Green, but I mean,
A couple picks, too.
And a couple picks, too.